All right, here we go. Yo, yo, yo. What up, though? Neisha Neshae in the building. What's good?
What's up?
Hey, you know what? I'm finally got you here. I'm excited for this interview. You know what I'm saying? Saying no, man, I've been wanting this joint for a minute. But, again, you got to hold his nuts on me and say, hey, bro, you gotta let that career breathe a little bit before you, step in certain arenas. So, and I'm still humbly thankful for you being here. So appreciate you sitting down.
Thank you for having me.
You, Ypsilanti, Michigan native. You know what I'm saying, man? Would you consider yourself, if you were to put yourself like in a genre, is it R&B? What would you consider yourself?
I actually created my own genre of music when I first started, and I call it R&B trap.
R&B trap.
Mm-hmm.
Break that down.
So the R&B side of me is that, soft, I care a little bit side, and the love R&B side, and then, the trap side is that hardcore from the south side,
Gotcha.
Gritty type chick.
Okay, so also when I hear that, do you blend the both sounds? Like, do you take the trap beat sometime and
I do my best to, I kind of formulate my own ways, but I do try to mix the two in one.
Got you.
I just feel like I have my own sound, so that's why I put a name on it.
Well, since it's our first time sitting down, let's go ahead and figure out how you got to the sound. So I had a chance to do some research on you, and I saw that you grew up in foster care and things of that nature. Like, can you give us like a little bit of that backstory of you growing up in Ypsilanti?
Yeah, so when I was young, my sister and I were both taken from my parents around the age of 1 or 2.
Okay.
And we ended up in foster care. During foster care, we weren't treated the best. I actually ended up being abused. And then a couple years after foster care, we were taken from there from my dad and his girlfriend, and ended up, going through abuse again from his girlfriend. She just abused alcohol and was just, I don't know. She took her anger out on us that she had with my dad. And once my aunt and my grandpa figured out that that's something that we were going through, they used to pick us up on the weekends from there. And we used to not want to go back. So that's what made them go to court and, adopt us. So my sister and I were actually raised by my grandpa and my aunt.
Now, is this your grandfather on your dad's side of the family? Okay. Now, what about your mom's side of the family? Like, did you ever have any interactions with them at all whatsoever?
Not her side of the family, not really. Her mom, my grandma, we did have some type of relationship at one point, but not now.
Okay. Definitely understand. Now, growing up in an environment, I mean, definitely, just tough, tragic thing. And children shouldn't ever have to experience that, let alone anyone. But sometimes out of these things, man, it births talents, it births resilience, things of that nature. Like music, like at what point in time did you start realizing that you had this gift?
I've always had a natural passion for music, just growing up and being in church and singing in Bible school, singing in church, school choir and stuff like that. And my aunt and my nana were just like obsessed with my voice. Like, I got a karaoke machine for Christmas one year, and ever since when I was younger, they had me doing like these house shows and being in the yard and singing for them and all this great stuff. But I never took music seriously until I got in 11th grade and my mom passed away.
Oh, wow.
I stopped playing basketball to do music. So,
what made you stop playing basketball, and why couldn't you feel like you could do both?
That's a good question. It was just a different type of release for me. Like, when you have a certain type of energy and you have to learn to put it somewhere. And like basketball just wasn't doing it for me. I was amazing at basketball, don't get me wrong, but like it was just something about being able to write down how I feel or like actually verbalize what I was going through. You can't really verbalize your feelings in basketball, like pass the ball like, yeah, I'm stressed out, music just like did it for me. So
Got you. Now, so you start taking this serious. Can you give me, I know singing in church and things of that nature, but your aha moment, like, hey, no, I am really, really good, and this is my calling?
I'll never forget the time I cried. I was in the studio recording with this producer named Jay West. I recorded this song called Hood Love. And it was just the first time I heard myself sounding how I sounded. And like, it was just a group of us in the basement listening to the song, and everybody was turned up to the song. And like, I broke down crying. Like, this is like it for me. In that moment, I knew it was time for me to take what I was doing seriously. And that was my moment. Like, I broke down crying, and like one of my old friends picked me up, like, this is what you're meant to do. This is beautiful, Good tears.
Like, with just having such a strong, like a powerful, amazing voice. I mean, like when I heard that Mo3 outside, just the clarity, the sonics, just everything about it. Like, do you take, like, I know you're professional, but did you take like actual like lessons and things of that nature to just control and just to be able to deliver like that?
I actually did take vocal lessons. Brandon from Star Factory out here in Detroit.
Okay.
I took some classes with him for a while, and it actually developed me, in a very good way. My stage presence, how I can sing and everything. Yeah, shout out to Brandon. He did that.
No doubt. Okay, so now here it is. You jumping in the studio, and like you said, like Neisha Neshae, that's your name before, but everybody always had them crazy first entertainment names. Mm-hmm. Like, what was your first entertainment name?
My first entertainment name was Shawty Soldier. I took that name so seriously, Lord. I did music under that name.
Okay.
That might actually still be on SoundCloud. I'm not sure. But after that, and I found my old manager at the time, we ended up coming up with a new mature name.
Yeah.
Neshae is my middle name, and my first name's Denisha, so we just took the duh out.
Got you. So was it more so like they felt like, hey, this can be more of a broad approach business-wise? Is that...
Yeah, I think that we all just felt like that as a mutual, like being called Shawty Soldier at the age of 25 and 30 is a little too much.
You don't feel like you can make a resurgence, like an alter ego, like Beyonce got Sasha Fierce, is that?
Oh yeah, I feel like I would, and I almost should, considering my circumstances right now. Change my name like Prince did real quick.
Yeah, there you go. Now, I did see an interview that Lil Boosie is your favorite artist. And to me, that is hilarious. Like, I rock with Boosie, man. Character and music go hard, but being up here, growing up in Detroit, being up north, I never really heard too many people from up here say Boosie, such an underground Southern artist, like that's their favorite. Like, what drew you to Boosie to make him your favorite artist?
Honestly, just his energy. Like, I've always loved his music and the energy he puts behind it, super authentic to me. I feel like, as we get older, sometimes people make choices and do things that have nothing to do with us, so it doesn't affect me anyways. I don't give a shit what Boosie got going on, online, and what people got to say about him. His music is fire to me. So that's just where I'm at. Shout out to Boosie.
I'm going to kind of jump topic, but stay kind of close to that, because you just hit on a point that just made me jump in my head. Like, should a person be able to separate the music from the person? Like you said, like, Boosie may say something crazy, but I'm still listen to the music. R. Kelly did some wild shit, but people may still listen to the music. Like, we kind of in the cancel culture, can a person be able to really enjoy the talent and not like the person is separated?
So, this is my take. Don't get worked up. I know y'all like to fight and everything, but I feel like, for example, the R. Kelly thing, for a woman who has experienced molestation or rape or anything of traumatizing sorts, right? They might be more affected by the stories or the he say, she say of what R. Kelly has done and not want to listen to his music more than someone who's never experienced that would. Like, I've never went through something like that, and it doesn't affect me. It's more like an empathy thing. It's like, you can choose what affects Chris Brown. He did what he did. People still listen to his music, so it's like somebody who's never been through what he did to Rihanna might not be like feel any type of way about it, but somebody who has to be like feels empathy towards it. You know what I'm saying? So Me personally, I don't feel no type of way. Just don't put your hands on me. Don't come over here with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna listen to my favorite songs. I personally never really grew up on R. Kelly.
Got you.
So whether or not he did that doesn't affect whether I listen to his music or not.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, with the music, you know what I'm saying, you start taking it seriously, like, and at what point were you starting to be approached to pursue music, like, professionally on another level, like management, label, et cetera?
Well, my first manager, I actually found my manager myself.
Okay.
I was just DMing people on Instagram, like reaching out, like, I do music, check me out. And I sent him a message one time, like, I do music, check me out, you know? And he hit me back, like, send me some music. But at the time, I didn't really have, like, anybody representing me for real. So, Jay West, who was the producer that I started working with before I met Floss, my old manager, I had him like step up behind me, like represent me, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I ended up sending him some music that Jay West and I had worked on, and we just ended up linking up after that. And then from there, I started working with Helliva.
There you go.
So that's just basically when everything took off for me. Helliva and I just have like a natural connection. We've made some fire ass songs together, you know. So that's when it really started.
Okay. And so now it started to take off. You start to gain traction. What do you feel like is the first song that really just start breaking through, that people really start tapping into?
On the Cloud. On the Cloud was my first big record, you know.
All
right. It told my story and, you know, just gave people like an introduction to me. And then after that, we came with I'ma Go Crazy, which was completely different than On the Cloud, you know. So I was just shook. I didn't really even want to put the song out, you know. But right now it's over 10 million views. So that's my biggest record that I have out.
Okay. And so as we know, when you start dropping songs that consistently do great numbers, labels start approaching. Mm-hmm. And you end up signing a deal. Like, what made you decide to sign a deal? Especially we in a world right now where the cool thing is to say independent. Mm-hmm. What made you jump off and sign your first deal?
Well, independent, I want to say just got cool. Like, people just started kind of pushing the independent. Not just, but like as of a couple years ago type thing. It wasn't really like a big thing to be super independent. I think that I was just excited. You know, you're talking about major labels, and I'm thinking about my music getting to the world and just having a super strong team behind me. It's exciting. Yeah. And you hear stuff like that, you hear some money, and you're like, ooh, go on, let's run it, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at. But like, just my experience as of the last couple of years and just doing things independently, me and my manager said, we've been holding it down, and I think I prefer the independent route.
Gotcha.
You know, it's less of a headache, and we're just more in control of where we're headed.
Like, on the Super Bowl, it was a commercial where it showed LeBron now talking to his teenage self. I think that was like one of the most powerful commercials I've seen. It was dope. If you could talk to Neisha Neshae at the point before she's getting ready to sign, what would you tell her?
Don't do it. Take a breath. Step back. Like, don't do it right now in this moment. You know, I might have taken a couple extra days to think about it, because I don't think I thought about it too hard. Like, not like I could have. You know? And I don't regret it at all. I don't regret any decisions I made, because everything that we go through and experience is all a part of who we are now. So I appreciate having experience, even being signed to a major label. That shit can only happen. Like, it could be once in a lifetime type thing, you know?
For sure.
And people die for stuff like that. So, you know, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to have learned everything I've learned so far. And it helps me know how to move if I sign to another label.
Now, is it common, because if I'm correct, you were signed to two labels. You had your indie label you were signed to, and then the indie label got signed to Roc Nation. Is that how that worked?
Yeah.
Is that common with most artists? Because most people think you sign directly Roc Nation, or you sign directly to Atlantic.
I'm not sure if it's common, but I do know it happens to where labels, you know, keep their artists and they do 50-50 deals with the major.
Gotcha. Now, you signed with your label, the indie label, and you with Roc Nation. How long were you over there? Because you're no longer with Roc Nation, correct?
What was the question? I got distracted.
Oh, it's all good. So with being with the indie label and end up signing with a major with Roc Nation. Like,
Mhm.
how long were you over there with Roc Nation? What was the experience like, and are you still with them?
Oh, wow. The Roc Nation deal, I was with them a year before we made the announcement.
Okay.
It was more so something we held back on just to kind of try to make things be a certain way. You know, things weren't necessarily moving yet, so we didn't want to be like, "Oh, Roc Nation signed," and like not be doing Roc Nation things.
Right.
But I was signed to them for like what, 2 years? About a year before, a year and a half ish.
And this is around what year?
2018, 17.
Okay.
17. So yeah, and then at the time, we put out White Sticks. We did the I'ma Go Crazy video. We did a whole project that hasn't obviously been put out yet. But that just didn't go out how it's supposed to be.
Right.
How it's supposed to be planned, which is okay. Not everything goes as planned. But right now it's just free Neisha. We just working on the next move and the solution to, where we're going.
So is that why we're seeing more covers now? Is it the issue with the label that is not allowing you to do?
Yeah. I've just been doing covers to kill time and like tapping into other things that I'm good at. I had to realize like music is not my only avenue.
There you go.
Although I am going through what I'm going through right now, there's so many other things I'm good at. So that's just that's my positive way of looking at, everything that's going on.
For sure. Like, but how frustrating is it, like, if you could put it on a scale of 1 to 10, just not being able to release music? And do you still actually actively record now?
I actually said this the other day to like one of my friends. It's like fighting to do what I love.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to do that? Who wants to fight to do something that they're like most passionate about in life, Not me, but that's what's going on. And like, it's cool. Like, it's very stressful for me mentally,
Mhm.
but I also learned to put my energy into things that are still good for me, like working out, on my off time. And yeah, I still record. I got a studio at my house.
There you go.
Record, like I wake up and record or whenever on my own time. Like I recorded that Mo 3 cover myself.
Yeah, you killed that.
Thank you.
Killed it.
And I'm just being positive. Like, if you let the mud get you all stuck in a rut, then that's how you're going to look, And I'm not about to be looking like the things I'm going through. So, everything's going to work out how it's supposed to.
Now, before we get out of here, like, if you could work with anybody in the industry, music-wise and also movie-wise, who you work with?
Denzel Washington on the movies, Will Smith, Angelina Jolie. I think I would be funny in a Medea movie too.
There you go.
Put me in one of them. But Drake, Mary J. Blige. Those are my top right now. And Boosie, obviously. I love Jeezy. Who else y'all want to see me work with? I'm just open to work with any artist that's passionate about music, That's just really where I'm at.
Got you. Now, do you get to determine, how do you determine somebody passionate? Is it your eye test that they have to be passionate about music for you to work with them?
If they're passionate on like what I perceive them to be? Yeah and no. It's not really up to me to tell somebody whether or not they're passionate about what they're doing. But if I don't feel the passion and we don't have like a musical connection, then like, what are we doing?
You turned somebody down on the feature before? Like,
oh, absolutely.
Oh, man, that just gotta hurt.
I have. I'm not on like a disrespectful type turn down, but like, if the song is just not what it should be, I'm not getting on it. I don't care how much you're paying. No offense,
No offense.
But, and also, like, I have gotten songs where I'd be like, just like let's fix it. Or like, let's work on it. To where I don't say no. I'd be like, let's make it work, So it's just all about a choice, kind of.
Now, I do want to tap on this. And I know I said I was going to end, but I do want to tap on this because of R&B. The state of R&B.
Mm-hmm.
Like, growing up, we had, love ballads. We had wedding type of music. Mm-hmm. We had love-making type of music. We had heartbreak and falling in love type of music. And it almost feels like that. I don't want to say that R&B is gone, but it has, like, took a backstage. Like, in order to find that music, to hear that music, you have to now go find that music. Like, how do you feel about the state of R&B and what made it fall to the back instead of not being at the front as it used to be?
I'm definitely an R&B girl. I'm one of those people like I'll ride in the car, just like blast R&B and be like scream singing it at the top of my lungs. But I blame R&B being like pushed to the side, just like off of this generation's like they're high sprung off just like everything that's going on, like all this new information and all this drama and all this negative stuff. It's like we're just like this right now, and like music that's like that. You'll be in the club listening to some. You can go to like R&B Tuesdays and listen to some calmer, slower music. But like most of the time, you go to the club, you go out, anywhere you go, you're gonna hear some boop boop. You could be in Dunham's, and 9 times out of 10, there's gonna be some lit music. But I know that R&B music still does exist, and R&B artists still exist, and they're just being looked over right now for whatever reason.
I felt like once R&B kind of disappeared, dance floors disappeared. Because, like, you notice if you go to a club, they're just turning, like, restaurants into clubs now. Everybody just stand at a booth. There's no dance floors anymore. And you remember it used to be that time, like, where, you play the turn-up music, but everybody, at least the dudes, is always waiting for that slow song to come on.
That nasty R&B real quick.
You get to that. But it's not like that no more. It's just shoot 'em up, bang, bang. And I had interviewed Sean Cotton, CEO of Say Cheese, and he said the people to blame for where music is today is women. Y'all determine what music is to be heard. If women want to hear shooter music, drill music, if that's what women like, that's what's going to get played.
That's crazy. They're going to blame us for what we listen to. I mean, it's 50-50 men and females in the world.
We said dudes only going to go listen to what girls like. Dudes can act gangster, but girls come in the room and they say play something else.
That's not true.
You don't think so?
You could play some Fantasia When I See You right now in a room full of niggas. All of them gonna sing it. You could sing that right now, the hours and hours shit. You turn that shit on and you got a room full of niggas, I guarantee you they gonna sing that shit.
So you disagree? You don't think women have the power to drive the culture of music? Like it's in y'all hands? Like if y'all stop liking shooters, then shooters stop being cool?
I don't think it's just us. I think it's all of us as one, like as a unit. Like whatever it is that we all listen to as a whole is what we're gonna get more of. Can't just say it's women. What about the gay guys?
Hey.
Like, it's everybody. This as a whole. We all are off this hype shit right now, so that's just where we at. And I feel like the more we get of that hours and hours and that new Queen and Big Sean, like the R&B vibes,
Yeah.
Well, like Summer Walker, she gives me R&B vibes,
Well, speaking of Summer Walker, you see her cut her hair off.
Yeah, but I thought she'd been cut it off.
Well, she had you see, like she had like it was almost like some Britney Spears type of thing where it's like she shaved.
With the locks and stuff.
Yeah, and, all this.
Yeah, you have the creativity to express yourself however it is you please. I'm not saying it's something I would do with my hair, but I'm definitely not judgmental on how people, choose to express. I saw people hating on that. They got too much time on their hands.
Because I guess we'd be worried. I don't know if we necessarily worry. We are in a world of toxic fans now. But certain things don't look like not creativity, but certain things don't look like expression. It look like mental health issues may be happening. Are we wrong for trying to make those type of determinations solely by what we see?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Judging people based off of what you see on the internet is wrong.
Why?
You don't know them personally in real life. You can't have a direct conversation with someone and really understand who they are and where they're coming from. And you just like basing it off pictures they post, like you're out your shit.
But is that off limits once a person decides to become a musician or take on a position that's in public eye? Does those type of standards, is that off? Like, shouldn't they be able to be critiqued? Because, they stepping out in public eye.
Critiqued? I feel like we're all entitled to whatever opinion we have about people, right?
Gotcha.
We can say and think whatever we want, but like, should it bother that artist, or should they make their moves and how they dress and what they look based off of what people critique them on now? Continue to do you, and whatever makes you happy and makes you feel more like yourself. Like, we're going to get judged regardless. She could have did that hairstyle or not did it, and people would have still had something to say. So
that is true. Now, ending on this, and I promise, the Mo3 cover was crazy. What made you and Bobby Billions. My bad, Bobby. Mo3 Bobby Billions song Outside cover was crazy. What made you pick that song? And it's still by far my favorite cover
Thank you.
altogether. What made you pick that song?
I picked that song because I just resonated with the tone of the record. You know, like it was giving me church gospel vibes, and like I felt like how amazing would it be to hear a woman singing this, you know? And so I just wanted to do that. And it came out way better than I anticipated.
Man.
So yeah, that's one of my favorite songs. Shout out to Bobby and Mo3. Are that two different people?
Bobby Billions and Mo3. That's two different people. You're right.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah, man. But I tell you what, I know I posted it on my page and my reels. I think that at that time was the most reels I ever had viewed. But you rocked that joint. I think we need to go ahead and start a movement now, Free Neisha.
Yes, we do.
Like, hopefully you could get out, you know what I'm saying, your deal so we can start getting new music and all that.
Music, yes.
Man, but I know you're into your acting thing. I definitely wish you the best. Thank you. I really appreciate you sitting down with me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, and mentioning the music, the movies, make sure you guys go on Amazon Prime and check out Price of Love by Icewear Bezo, starring myself.
There you go. Hey, well, Neisha, until we meet again.
Until we meet again.
Peace.